Hello and welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Challenge, being recorded here in April of 2022. Hope you are doing well wherever and whenever you are. Today we are heading to Murond Holy Place. We have a few battles here. Today it's just one, but the next one is going to be a combined video inside of the Holy Place as we wind down to the end of this game. Pretty cool. So this is the kind of second to last sequence of games before we go into the final dungeon dive of the Orban Monastery. We have the outside of the temple here and then a couple battles inside and underneath. The outside area of the temple, this comes right after we see Vormov take out Cardinal Funeral, betray them, and go after us for the Germanic scriptures to lead us in. And here we are outside of this chapel again. It's kind of like the battle with Zalmo, but I do love this battle because this priest can have math skill. I think this is one of the rare times when you can see it. I'm gonna check for it here once the battle starts. We've got a split party here, as you can see. We've got a priest, summoner, and a couple of geomancers, and then on the back we have a couple of mediators. So we have a bunch of like funky jobs right there. Now the fact that the priest just starts charging a ice 2 or whatever, or fire 2, shows me that he probably does not have math skill, and he does not. So now let's see what we have here. So this geomancer's got a sword, the dragon rod. The dragon rod is actually a really good rod for magic users. I think that's beyond what you can buy. I think that's kind of similar to like the Ultimus bow. You can't buy a dragon rod in the shops, I believe, and a 108 gems. I'm just double checking what they're all immune to. I just want to make sure that I can silence them before I commit to moving my characters up into the doorway to cast silence. So this one has the slasher axe. I think that's going to hit us later and stick slow on us. And then these guys both have the mithril bang bangs. So I've got, it's 2 on 2 in the back, and then it's 3 on, I don't know, is it 3 on 4 back here? Yeah. So we have the numerical disadvantage, but we have, actually we have better classes than they do. Geomancers are pretty fun, and we're going to see things like gusty wind or whatever the one is called from the rooftop. And we might even see some of the other kind of funky ones that are not like carved model, like the stone one, but the one that's like the brick one, the building one. So that's kind of cool. Geomancers would be a fun challenge run to do in this one. But I don't know if their class has enough variety to really take out some of the more difficult battles. They're a really nice support class, as are Oracles. But Oracles have just so much flexibility and variety that's why I chose them for this particular run. So that priest is charging, and I can move our guys up and start targeting stuff. I don't want to, in case I can't get that priest silenced, I don't want everybody getting hit, so that's why I'm spreading out a little bit. But I'm going to look at that priest, and wow, yeah, silence 98%. So I really could have moved her right up there into that doorway pretty confidently, because I think the silence is going to go off before the fire 2 or whatever goes off. Yeah, it is fire 2. So I really could have moved her up there and done that. Plus, I could have gotten maybe another whack at getting the summoner silence. But at least what we're doing by actually physically targeting the summoner is, even if the summoner had gotten an action before the silence went off, the summoner would pretend like he was already silenced. I call that marked for silence. I think speedrunners call it like marked for doom when they have like charging petrify or death on somebody. Marked for death, I guess. And then the AI behaves, including the enemies, that like, oh yeah, I'm going to be silent, so I'm not going to cast on you. So that's what I like to do with mages. And then the other bonus there is that if they're in silent status, instead of retreating like if they were in don't act status, they will actually come down towards us because they're going to try to use physical attacks on us, which is awesome. So when you have mages and they're silenced, usually the AI will push them close to you. They'll come in at you because they'll try to whack you with the dragon rod and the gold staff. So that's exactly what I want those guys to do. I want them close. I don't want them retreating to these back corners here to recover from their status and then charge out and hit us with a huge titan or something. So that's exactly how I wanted that to play out. And I've got a chance for a couple of paralyzes on these mediators. Trying to get them locked in so that they're not popping us too much with the bang bangs. And also on the backside there, this is that, I think it's gusty wind. And slow on a couple characters is going to be kind of annoying. But I tucked my characters up right against that wall because the mediators won't be able to get line of sight to me. I don't think. They could maybe if they went right to the edge, but I don't believe they do. And so that's why I moved them to the spots that I moved them, because I don't think the mediators, like right there, that mediator doesn't quite have line of sight to me. for the Mithril Bang Bang, and this one as well. It can't quite get to line of sight, so they're going to try to come down and around in order to get line of sight. Once they get down to the ground, they'll have it, and they can start popping us. All right, there's silence on the Summoner. So the Summoner, when he gets his turn, is not going to be using a spell on us. He's just going to start coming down towards us because he's silenced, and he's just like, fine, my next best thing is to go down and whack you with a Dragon Rod and use Defend, which is also nice. I like when enemies use Defend when they're nowhere near you, because that gobbles up their action, and it sets their CT down to 0 instead of down to 40 if they had just waited. So when they use Defend uselessly like that, they actually are going to get fewer turns overall. They're going to get a turn less often, which is wonderful for me. I do not mind. I mean, with him silenced, it doesn't make a difference there for him casting, but I just like that he's just going to be hanging out and giving us a chance, a little bit of a speed advantage there. And the priest is going to do the same thing. So a silenced priest, he's going to start to come down towards us, and he's going to start to hack at us with this gold staff. So luckily this is just mithril guns, and we've got the defense up, so that's going to help us there. That one was in don't act status, so he was not going to come down farther to just uselessly stand there. My setup here, I have the mantles again, and I also have the bags on the Lady Oracles, so they are in regen status. Ramza has the Octagon Rod. I'm not using the Germanist boots here. You're not really doing any ignore height shenanigans or big jumping. We have enough range that we can get to these guys even through those walls and everything, so we're okay with that. I found myself not really using the boots so much this battle. The mantles are just so much nicer. And so now we're just kind of hanging out. We're also doing the thing that you kind of get in trouble with a little bit later in the battle, where if you are just in position to keep attacking without moving, you can get more turns and a bit of a speed advantage, which is kind of doubled by things like the Summoner using Defend, but you're not recovering the MP from doing your move, so you're kind of losing some opportunity cost there. And so we're spending a lot of MP, but we're not really gaining much back. I'm still using all of the HP boosting gear, and like the Thief Hat and the black costume, because that helps our regen status, so that's just been much more helpful overall, especially given our ability to recover all this MP, because we could have like almost double the MP that we have right now if we were using the robes. We would have, you know, I don't know, 60 or 70 more MP, which also gives us 6 or 7 more MP each time we move with the move MP up. So that's a nice deal there, but the HP is a little bit more important for some of these battles like this, where I'm going to be taking a few elemental hits, and the odd summon might fire out if I get unlucky. Here comes an attack with the oh no, that's just a dash. So they use a dash there because dash is a 100% chance to land, and so apparently that Geomancer determined that it was better to just do a 100% for really low damage than to try to attack with the sword or the axe into a mantle. So that's another big advantage of using the mantle right there. Ramza's got terrible compatibility here. The Octagon Rod should do a lot more. I don't know if maybe that guy has defense up or something, but yeah, so you can see really low on a chance to land life drain. It would have done more damage, but it's have a 30% chance to land. He was better off just attacking. So Ramza's in slow, as is this Oracle, so they're both slow status. They're not going to be getting as many actions here for a little while. So I need to figure out how can I best use them right there. What can I get charging on these guys? And Petrify is going to work for me. 50% on that pre-spec there, that's fine. So she is not in slow status, so she's okay. I'm looking to see what do I need to do. Life drain looks like maybe the pick there. And again, see, she's at 60. She's at 60 MP. She's going to spend another 16 on this life drain and not move to recover anything. So as you can see, it's going to really start to go down on us. Okay, there's the first Petrify on the Mediator. I'm happy to get at least one. And it happens to be the one who is not in Don't Act status. So that one's good too, because that's the more dangerous one right now. The other one missed, and that's okay. So now I've got 2 on 1, so now I'll have 2 casters petrifying that one per turn, so it should be gone within a couple more actions, maybe even before the Don't Act status expires. Our speed is really good because of those Thief Hats, so we're really racking up the actions here, which I'm very happy about also. That's working out for us a lot better than whatever the hat is, the mage hat headgear that you've got here. It's not, maybe it's gold hairpin, or maybe it's another one better by now. So let's see. We got a couple of them here. Pretty good chance to land on both of them based on his faith and their faith and all the mechanics in the background that we've been talking about for this whole run. So that Geomancer still don't act. Just going to be chilling back there. This one, remember, was not struck by the don't act. And so there's the attack with the slasher and slow. The reason he went with the attack that time is because there's a charging mage there, and your mantles are no good on when you're charging. You have 0 evasion when you're charging. You're extremely vulnerable. So that's why that they could go for those physical attacks. And even the priest there going for the gold staff whack, because you get a damage bonus and you get 100% to hit on those guys. So it's really not a good proposition to leave a mage character just charging out in the middle of nowhere if you've got some heavy hitters. And we normally don't like to think of priests as heavy hitters, but with a good enough staff, they can be. And then, of course, the Geomancer as well. With that axe. That could have done a lot more damage, the axe, the slasher axe. So the priest is petrified, so no more gold staff hits for us. And here's a life drain. Let's see if she can pick that up. Ooh, that would have been nice to have, but that's okay. She missed that one. Can't get them all. Can't get them all. So now the Summoner is going to come up and get in the action. So the Summoner is actually one move away probably from attacking us with that Dragon Rod, which is pretty sweet. Here's the other Petrify. Let's see if we can land it. Yes. Okay, so both of the Mediators are down. This Petrify is going to fail. Not a problem at all. So let's get around here. And they're just going to try their best to get up and around without the Germanist boots. Sadly, I can't switch to the Germanist boots for this part. Wish we could do that with this class. Can't, sadly. So, yeah, they're just going to be climbing this rooftop and waiting. They've got three moves at a time. So now Rams is looking, what can I do? What can I do? Where can things land? He's looking at Silent Song. He's actually looking to maybe reapply Silence, but I guess it doesn't work like that with the Summoner. I didn't know that before this, because you can reapply Paralyze. You can like re-paralyze characters over and over again. So you can do that part, but you can't reapply Silence, apparently. You have to wait for it to expire, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. So now Rams is just kind of counting. He's looking around, what can I do? He's not super low on the hit points, so he could go over there and attack the Summoner if he can get there. 1, 2, 3. Actually, no, I don't think he can. He can't quite get there with his move. That's what I was looking at. Because if he could have gotten a whack there, that would have been nice. Even though the Summoner's defending, it still could have been a good whack. There's another Gusty Wind. She was already in slow status from that the Gusty Wind, and I think the Axe attack as well. She got slow applied to her with the Slasher attack. So now that's a move inside the doorway there just to recover MP. That's all that move is. And this is a little bit dicey right here because I've got an effective Geomancer back there on the rooftop. And that Geomancer is going to just keep plunking us, and we're in range of that guy, so even if he can't quite get all the way around to start attacking us with the sword, he's just going to be throwing all these gusty winds at us and hitting us with slow, and if he moves to the other bricks, he might hit us with the other Geomancy thing, the brick one, and that could start to get ugly. Some of these statuses could be gross. He's going to kind of out-oracle the oracles for us. Now here, this turn is pretty interesting because she's pretty low on health. She is going to get a tick of regen, so she's going to get some recovery. But she's got 2 juicy targets right there. The problem is she can't quite see what her percentage is to land on that Geomancer down there and the Summoner at the same time. So she can look to see right now what the Summoner is going to be. So she's got 100% to land on the Summoner, but it's less damage. The Geomancer is going to give her more health, a little bit more, like 10 or 20 more. So this is why she moves down here, because now at this point, now she can look and see which one is better. So it's more hit points, but a lower chance to land. This one is fewer hit points, 100% to land. So that's what she ends up going with, because she could have also finished that Geomancer off. That would have been the other benefit of landing that one. She could have finished that Geomancer off. She would have picked up, even though he was at 5, you do drain the full amount. So she could have drained 80, taken that guy out, and been back there. But she goes back and decides to go for the more sure thing, which I still think was the better choice. She got 37 from a regen tick. She's going to get 61 from this Summoner. So she's going to be at least within range of not being like axed to doom. especially if she's not charging. So now that she's not charging, if that Geomancer happened to get a turn, he just wouldn't be able to get as much on her. So here's Ramza. He's coming up, and he's going to go for the whack attack here. And the Octagon Rod might heal the silence, but he decides to go for the whack here, and it does not actually heal the silence. But the reason I went for that is because he's also a Don't Act status, so I didn't mind healing the silence, which was going to expire fairly soon anyway. And then Don't Act was also still there, so I'm still not really at risk of taking a summon to the face. So she's looking at where she can go or where she can move, what she can do. She's just going to move over there, pick up the MP, and now she's going to see if there's anything she can target that's going to get to anybody. Looks like Paralyze and Sleep are the same. And she is going to target over here. She's going to go after that poor summoner again. So this guy is going to go for Throw Stone. We saw the dash before from basic skill. Now we're going for the Throw Stone. That's interesting. So that means that his AI wanted to keep him in the corner, and that was more important than doing damage. So he could have moved up and dashed on her one tile, but he decided to throw the stone because he did not want to leave the very corner, because when they're in critical like that, the game wants to keep them in the absolute corner. So she's looking at what she can target here, while also not going after her own character. She can target that. Looks like she's going to target one. I think this is a Paralyze. And you can just see our recovery is just so nice from the bags. You pick up so many hundreds of HP on these battles. You gain your entire HP pool usually a couple times over in these battles when you gain 10% of it every turn. So it's really worth it. If you're doing challenge runs like this and you can do a class where you can have some female units, those bags are super valuable. Especially if you're a casting class where you're not having to actually use your weapons very often. It is unfortunate because sticks are great. I do love sticks. So here's Ramza's choice. Ramza can move back to finish off the Geomancer back there, or he can come up and finish off the Summoner. This makes more sense because now Ramza is closer to the last standing enemy in the fight, so Ramza is now better able to get involved into this last little battle up here on the rooftop. So this Oracle now is Dorothy. She can go over there and she can maybe finish this guy off. So Life Drain still has a pretty low chance to hit, so she's going to move over here. And look how we're going to finish things off right there. 75%. Let's do it. That is a purse beat for the KO right there. I love those achievements when you can get those. Purse whacks for the finish. I love that. Final attack right there. I always smile when I get to finish somebody off with a purse. So here comes Petrify on this guy, and this battle's going to be over right now. There we go. So Ramza didn't need to get involved. There we go. So that is it for this part of Murond Holy Place. We're going inside next time. If you like these videos, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, drop me a comment, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm active_ATE. We will see you next time.